in Tucson. Thank you for joining us.
Oh,
so many more events here in this space. It's going to be a lot of fun all the way through the end of August. Catalyst and Saka. Saka is one of our title sponsors. So the Tucson Tasty Show is brought to you by Saka. The Southern Arizona Art and Cultural Alliance is dedicated to creating, preserving, and advancing the arts. We're really excited to be here with everybody. We have a live audience too. I'm a little nervous.
Incredible, yeah. It's a little intimidating, right? But we have the samples. We can kind of like bribe them to like hang in there, right?
So as we're diving in, Dawn, you became known for Unfamiliar. What exactly are
based on history, their age? So the oldest form of the grains that have been cultivated, domesticated, are the ancient red here, but that's in the ancient grain family, those three, with einkorn being the oldest, dating back 7,000 years. Another one of the grains that I get to use at Barrio Bread and Bagel and Slice, which is amazing. We can talk about that. And then goes up to 1950. Everything previous to that is heritage wheat. So several of those growing here in Arizona, which is amazing, and again, used at Barrio Bread. And then after 1950s, we start to see some of the modern wheats, the more aggressive breeding techniques to how you can really create like a big, expansive, puffy bread because we've modernized some of these wheats. But you look at some of these breads, they're not super tall, but what they do have is incredible flavor. So it's kind of this trade-off, but ours and bakers around the country are now, and farmers partnering. Less irritation because you're able to break that down because the older varieties of grain, that's different structure, but also through the microbial action. But you just feel good. Bottom line, you feel good. And on top of that, it tastes good. So when those two things happen, right, smile, these muscles right here make you smile or activated because you have a good connection, the gut-brain axis. And so you're able to achieve this by just treating bread, or grains, and then bread the proper way, which is letting them ferment, and then naturally, slowly with the sourdoughs.
Absolutely. So it is not only healthy; it is good for you because it's a probiotic.
Yep, you got it. Lactobacillus is what's in your gut biome. That's what you try to increase to create that pre-digestion and post-digestion. So same thing with the bread. You get it. The lactobacillus is inside the the meat.
A sworn-off bread.
Someone comes in with a friend. They say they don't eat vocational center around grain too. So I teach my staff. My staff can pick that up and teach our public when I'm not there. But I tell them, I'd never force it. If you want to try, they're interested. They might try it at first, straight sourdough method bread, and they find out they don't have a reaction to it. A lot of the inflammation comes from the pesticides that might be on the grain, which these are 0 pesticides in Arizona. And it could be because of the breeding of the wheat. That could be another factor. And then how quickly it's fermented. The quicker it's fermented, the more upset your stomach will become because and that's in turn makes you not feel too good, sluggish, kind of bloated. So diet, they eat something that's a lot of fun to eat. They can go to the parties, eat the charcuterie board with the bread. They can take it home, have their kids enjoy it because the kids were, myself, I have a 2 and 3-quarter-year-old daughter. Had some older kids too, but the little one, it's nice to see her reaction to the bread, how they feel. They're gonna get cranky if they eat some flash leaven bread. And that's what it is food is medicine, and watching what you're, taking in, and also for your children.
Absolutely.
But being aware of my community, if I feed them well and they feel good, they're going to come back. So I need you guys.
So lessons.com and Barrio Grain.
To teach it.
So you're empowering home bakers to make beautiful loaves at home, and you're also giving them access to the grain.
Right.
Can you tell us a little bit more about how that came about and your mission there?
Yeah, sure. So Barrio Bread itself is started as grant funding. So I was working in my garage almost 7 years before I landed this grant with the USDA, which they saw that I was involved with the grain economy, native seed search. I partnered with them to start growing, which the first one was the Sonoran white wheat, but that came about. That was an upstart. 4 acres of wheat were grown, harvested. I processed it into flour with what grows local and are consumptive. But it started there, and then adding 1 or 2 varieties of grain every year with the farmers, making different types of bread. It was just amazing experience to understand how they behave, because all wheat is different. So you can't substitute this one for that one, expect the same results. And that's where, you know, a good artisan, a strong bread maker armed with knowledge can understand what happens in bread. So that was a great assignment for me. But that grew to fund Barrio Bread, the expansion of Barrio Bread out of my garage into brick and mortar 2015. And then in 2018, I really started to push for how can I further support my farmers? How can I further support my community? And so I started to do some studies and analysis of how much to get what I was using to the people with an educational format. And then the grain blends themselves, the flour blends, are specific to products. So after I got to go through all of them and study them single varietal and then kind of produce like an amalgam after that, like combinations of flours, I could understand, but also in a way where I could get community making the most delicious pancakes, scones, tortillas, pastas, breads. So I have a lot of different blends. Someone mentioned the pizza kit, which is probably my most popular, which is just add water. I do all the other ingredients for you. Add water and then a video learning through bread lessons. Just, you know, bring that up and you can watch the video for that kit. And so being a former educator, I thought the first thing I want to do instead of write a book is to have video learning because I'm a visual cat. But 2018, there was a grant for Barrio Grains with a partner, and then it was implemented. So I got implementation funding to put all that planning to work, which is more grow, more monies to pay farmers, to get the grain to the bakery, to make the bread, and for me to get outside the bakery doors and teach. And so bread education, you know, it stems from my my history as my career as an educator at Miles Exploratory Learning Center. I'm a College of Ed grad, anthropology, and then education later. So this kind of proved to be one of the strongest pillars of my business is teaching people, you know, the education outreach. Because if you're making bread, not just an interest. So this is going. We're, you know, growing, harvesting, making this into foods, you know, like Barrio Bagel and Slice, a new project to have. But yeah, more and more food. And to see people making delicious bread just like this at home, I mean, that's a payoff.
Absolutely. As we continue, I do need to do a quick shout out and thank you to our incredible sponsors and supporters, Saka and Local First Arizona. With your work through food and the arts and entrepreneurship, it strengthens the backbone of Southern Arizona. Thank you. So as we move into segment 3 here, and we're kind of just cruising, it's amazing information.
Free flowing.
You know, let's talk about your latest ventures with the Barrio Bagel and Slice, and you just opened one in Gilbert. Why bagels and pizza, and why now?
Oh, because it's so much fun. I actually kind of created that. But after winning the James Beard, I had a lot of people reaching out to me and wanting to partner with me to start new projects or launch new businesses. And I just said I don't want it to change like what I'm doing. So I was very careful how I go about, you know, using this amazing award to, you know, get something else. I was really want to be patient. But the Bornstein family at Chompy's reached out to me and they said, we would love to make a bagel with you. So I thought, oh, this Jewish family wants to get together with me, a Latino guy from the desert, and we're going to make this bagel. So I wanted to do it differently. I wanted to match the bread. So I thought, it has to have Sonoran wheat. So it's 85% whole grain Sonoran wheat. That formula, rehearsed it, R&D with Neil Borenstein. We have this bagel off the ground that's Arizona grain, sourdough leaven, no sugars, no oils. I'm super proud of it. And that sort of start to get me thinking, maybe something else. It could be a bagel shop. Maybe with pizza. This is something my son and I have always done since he was 5, is make pizza, travel around the world, look at pizza, definitely across the US, but always practicing. And so he and I started years ago doing pizza pop-ups at Barrio Bread. And that pizza that we've been working on, and I wouldn't say perfecting, because I don't believe that happens. I think we're just getting, rehearsing and getting better. But the pizza came about, and then I was like, bagels, pizza, and I had a former sandwich shop way back at Arizona Theater Company with Chef Riley Chandler. It's called Barrio Sandwiches. So really young man back then, and then we came together, and then we developed this sandwich shop. So that's just thinking of the same thing with the past of being a teacher, an anthropologist, an educator. I got that going for Barrio Bread, and now bringing back some of that past history and assembling it together. And then with this project, I have an amazing partner named Oren Malovinsky. He's one of my biggest buds. He's a super smart man, entrepreneur. He's been CEO of many companies, but he's really sharp, and together we're like, let's go to it. Let's create something for the community. Let's create something for our farmers. So more products in an environment. It's a Sonic, so it's a refurbished Sonic. 30 covered spaces, still have the drive-through. You can get a loaf of bread delivered right out the window, but it feels good. And then doing this for that community is amazing. My parents are a mile away, so it's all worked out. I had a commissary bakery there starting 2 years ago, and then the Sonic, the property we had was like amazing. Our realtor's like, oh, and here it is, and it's across the street from my bakery, which is inside Hayden Flour Mills. So it's a really amazing setup, and right next to Arizona Wilderness. So, hey, after work, I have something to do too, to go drink some heritage grain. So, is what they're doing, heritage wheat beers.
What kind of feedback or reactions have you been getting from customers with the bagel and pizza? Sounds like you're pretty busy.
Yeah, I'm pretty busy, but you know what? It's about being with good people. And then what I really wanted to achieve with Bagel and Slice, and what I've been doing for years at Barrio Bread, is connecting community. I feel like that's a really important part of it, is being very transparent with what your business practices are, especially with your products. Having something like this that's just real simple and makes you feel good, I can stand behind it 100%. But we're trying to create community, and I created a new kind of a tagline for Bagel and Slice, which is community supported and customer centered. So hospitality to the max. I learned this from my dad. He was a barber. So he is always, like, growing up, I started 8 years old, shining shoes, sweeping floors. He would tell me, if someone comes to the door, don't let that person touch it. You jump out of your chair, you greet them, you say a few things, how are you, blah, blah, blah. And they get that experience. So, I learned that from my dad, but I learned it through teaching. But this is what it really is focusing on each individual person, creating a community, and now there's a go-to place where you can come together, get food, sit on our patio. But I love it. It's just a continuation of Barrio Bread and how we interact with our guests.
Absolutely. And for everybody that's watching at home, definitely check out thetastyshow.com. That's where all the events that we're going to be having here in this space are going to be listed out. We have all the events up. I believe we have all the events up. I think we might have one or two that we need to add. Awesome. But it's for the culinary community to come and showcase what they're doing here in Tucson, and we definitely appreciate you being a part of it.
Absolutely.
We do have just a couple more questions, and then we'll ask anybody else if they want questions, maybe. Never had that option before. It sounds good, right? So my final question is, you've said that baking is a way to connect to people. Mm-hmm. What is your hope for the future of food in our region, especially as we continue to reconnect with our traditions?
Yeah, I really think it's important to honor traditions. Something I'm doing is thinking about the Sonoran wheat. This is something that my Nana's mom and my Nana's Nana was using, a flower from the desert. And it was originally brought by the missionaries in Father Aquino 1690. So to honor that tradition is amazing, this continuation that I get to do and spread the word on how to use it and where it grows and how it grows and who is growing it. So really that's my mission is, and my legacy, hopefully be connecting people to that traditional methods, who's growing your food, who is preparing your food, and what's in the food. So short ingredient lists, creating excitement, enthusiasm with the community, so you can be transparent, open, honest with what you're doing, and that just creates buy-in and then in turn movement. So that's all these sort of things that, for me, these entrepreneurial ways I've learned over the years are just solid, and they're just basic good people skills. And I think here in Tucson, man, we got this amazing culinary community. We have an amazing community, so be able to do this and activate our people, it's not as difficult in some other places, because I think we're really proud as Tucsonans.
Absolutely. Oh yes. So what questions do we have from the audience before we move into closing?
So first of all, it's so incredible that you're growing your own grain.
Yeah.
And then milling it yourself and making sourdough. I mean, like, what a dream. And so I made it through this part, but where and how did you learn how to grow your own grain and then make sourdough, and at such a level that you want the most prestigious award?
Yeah, thanks a lot. But it's really, I think that award is due to the people I'm around, So really started back with that grant, that Sarah Grant Sustainable Agricultural Research Education Grant with native seeds. And it was sort of this knowledge transfer I had as an educator, because I used to write grants for my school to try to get monies for kids for like a lot of PE programs or supplies. So I learned then that you really need to work with teams, and you need to grow this tight community that you're going to, strategic partners you're going to work with. So Native Seed Search, I was like, aha, so here we have Seed Savers, super knowledgeable, respected organization. From that, I started to learn, started to meet farmers. We held info sessions, come in, learn about what we want to do. Are there any farmers here in Southern Arizona or even up north that are interested? BKW Farms first to raise their hand and say yes. Some other farmers in Coolidge. So right away, we started to build this like foundation of connecting people. So I rely on them with all their contents. And then with Hayden Flour Mills, Jeff Zimmerman and Emma Zimmerman, her daughter, been amazing to just kind of bring forward this premier heritage grain growing facility, grain milling facility in Arizona. And so I just started to meet the right people. We started to partner on projects. We started to really understand each other and align ourselves to grow. And this is the only reason I've been able to grow to this level, and to grow from, in a short amount of time, I think 14 years, to what we have now. Used to be like out of the ordinary, even have a garage bakery. I was one of the first, probably the first to do it in Arizona. But then it was like, wow, all these people now that I help get the college food law designation, and start doing it for themselves. And then it was heritage grain in stores. You would never think about ordering a bread by its origin name, like Coruscant. I have now a 6-year-old boy that came in the other day and ordered a Coruscant loaf. It's like mind-blowing for me, right? Well, now we have a bread dialogue. We can talk about it. Where is that 5-year-old or 6-year-old going to be when he's 25? So this is all due to like the momentum just by organizing with other people and aligning with other people. So I might be able to like mention grain varietals and select some, and then my farmer grows it. And then what I love is like they're in their lane, I'm in my lane, we're totally united, and we're pushing hard, and we grow a lot faster together. Yep. So yeah, and it's been fascinating for me to like learn how grains grow, learn about heritage wheat, different varietals, what inputs they need, the growth cycle of Southern Arizona. But through that, you start meeting people like, whiskey distillers, Hamilton distillers, or brewers, So it's really neat.
Awesome. Thank you for the question. Yes.
I want to ask you, so I have already been following your course
Thank you.
Sometimes I have a question, I go back to it. I love the end of it where you have all the questions, that helps a lot. And then, so I like it a lot, thank you.
Thank you.
The question is, what do I have to consider when I'm using this card so as to make cakes or cupcakes or cookies? Do I save the discard, or that discard I have to use it right away when I eat?
Okay, yeah, the question is what to do with the sourdough starter when it comes to the discard. So if usually the sourdough starter, within 1 week, you want to feed it at least once. If you don't want to do that, you can dry it and make just like flakes of it and rehydrate it if it's like once every couple months you're going to bake. But really the key is using refrigeration. So fermentation is based on time and temperature. The cooler the environment, the slower the fermentation. So the refrigerator is a good way to slow your sourdough starter away. And if you're not, because if you're going to hold on to it, give it away is another way to give it to a friend. Pancakes, learn how to make sourdough pancakes. It'll change your breakfast brunch game. Crackers. I almost started a little cracker company too, and I'll tell you, it's so easy to do. But I was making like a chiltepin cheddar cracker, a Sonoran sesame, a red fife with sunflower and pumpkin seeds. And that sourdough starter, use it to make crackers. And when you eat a cracker, unlike a store-bought cracker, which is just not much to it, and the flavor, maybe the glycemic level makes your blood sugar spike, your insulin resistance. So sourdough crackers, you'll keep your blood sugars low, stable. You'll eat something that you started to make, and you're just eating the fermented part. But crackers would be good, and then you can dehydrate them. They're dry. So you can have them in your cabinet, take them to a party or a charcuterie. You'll impress everyone. But different ways to do it.
With the discard.
Yeah.
Why didn't you start that cracker company?
I got too busy. What's up here is like too much for me to handle sometimes. Okay, we can't. Need some workers.
Yes, yeah, being an entrepreneur sometimes, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's 50 million
thinking.
things all or different directions.
I love it. No end.
Awesome. Are there any other questions for Don? Wonderful. Well, thank you very much for joining us. And we're going to go ahead and wrap up, and then we're going to do off the air. We're going to have a little bit of time to talk a little bit more. So, definitely go to thetastyshow.com. If you're not signed up for the email list to remind you about these events, please sign up for the email list so we can send you the email reminders. And then you can also sign up for all the rest of the events. We're also going to be recording the radio show out of this space every Tuesday morning from 8:30 to 9:30. So please come and join us and see the other side of the mic. But thank you very much for joining us and sharing your wisdom and your dedication to our community.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you everyone from the live audience. And hopefully they see it out there somewhere too on their tubes.
And the most important part of every tasty show is stay tasty, Tucson.